Live. Yes, we are. Hello, everybody, and welcome back. It is another exciting episode of the Skip Happens podcast. Diving deep into the world of music, culture, and the stories behind the artists that we love. Of course, y'all know me. My name's Skip Clark. I'm the host of Skip Happens, and tonight I'm already loving this. We've been chatting a little bit off the air about life and just everything in general, but tonight I am joined by the incredibly talented singer songwriter. Yeah, who's making waves in the country music scene as well. You know what? He's a great inspiration to so many people. I want y'all to say hi to my new friend Elvie Shane. You may remember Elvie was actually here because this is from Central New York. He played the New York State Fair, and that's when I first met Elvie. But Elvie, how are you, buddy?
I'm good, brother. Thank you for having me on tonight.
Absolutely. How's life? How you doing?
It's good, man. It's been a little rough for a little while, but I've climbed out of the rut, and I'm feeling pretty good about things right now.
Cool. When you say it's been a little bit rough as an artist, and we all know, Elvie's, you've had your ups and downs. I get that, but you've been doing music for a little bit. You had My Boy out just a couple of years back, and went right to the top of the charts. But then you took a little bit of a break.
I had to, man. I had the post hit blues. I didn't know that was a thing. The post first record blues too. It all kind of came all at once. I didn't know that was a thing until uh, I went to the Country Music Songwriters Hall of Fame when Toby was inducted, and he
Oh,
talked about after he wrote his first record. R.I.P. By the way.
yes.
But he talked about after he finished his first record, he felt like he had his whole life to write that record, and then he was like, "What the hell do I do now?" And I definitely felt that. So yeah, I had to take a little time off. There was a lot of really great things that happened with My Boy and that first record, and with radio and other parts of the
Mhm,
industry. But
mhm.
as much as I loved and enjoyed all those great things, there were some things that I was pissed off about. That kind of, for whatever reason, I let them outweigh all the great stuff for a while. So I had to hide out for a little while and just get my head and my heart back right.
Mhm. It's like, being an artist, a singer, songwriter. It happens a lot in your profession. It happens a lot in what I do with the radio and all that and the podcast. There comes a time where you just need to say, "What the hell? I need to step back. I need to get my crap together again. I need to just
Yeah.
think about things a little bit." But and you
It's,
you talk
uh,
about post hit stress though. So
yeah.
you had a huge hit. You mean after that it was like, okay, now what?
Yeah, I mean, I guess there was always a little bit of a conflict with My Boy for me because I felt like that was an impactful song and it needed to be shared with the world, but there was always a struggle with whether I was going to be the one to put it out in the world or not.
Hmm.
And we even thought about pitching that song at one point in time, and we were going to pitch it to Luke Bryan. And the day that I decided that I was cool with that, I remember I was on my way to the house and I walked up and grabbed the door handle to walk in the house, the storm door handle, and God was like, "So you mean I'm gonna give you this song that you've shared with so many people and you've seen what it does for people, and you're just gonna give it away?" And I was like, "Well, I guess not now." So it wasn't long after that happened. Um, the record deal just kind of popped up. I mean, within a couple weeks, I ended up going and meeting record companies for the first time, and I was like, okay, well, I guess this is what it's supposed to be. And so we put that song out. But the biggest thing with that song that I struggled with for a while, I don't struggle with it anymore, but it's so different from a lot of the other stuff and stylistically and everything, that it was just like, okay, I've seen this happen before. Am I going to be the one hit wonder or whatever? And then after we did that, and then the second, we obviously there's some great things come of that. And then the second single was a bonk. So after that,
Yeah.
I was like, oh God, here we go. So yeah, it was just
Well,
it was
there's
intense.
always that chance of that happening, though. You put out another single and it just doesn't compare to the first one that you had out, but doesn't mean the third one wouldn't. You know what I mean? So you got to
Yeah,
keep going back, but maybe that's hard to understand sometimes when you get your hopes up and man, you're kicking ass, and then all of a sudden, bam, you get knocked down.
yeah.
But
There was a lot of time spent working on, like, on that second one, that the first that first year of my daughter's life was when I was out working the second single, and there was so much time that I spent trying to work that single that I was home, I think 40 days that year,
Oh, wow.
and um, between playing shows and doing all the promo and everything. So it just kind of took a toll on me, and I had to step
Yeah.
back and really think about, what am I doing this for? And,
Mhm. Mhm.
what am I doing? How am I doing it? And why am I doing it? So it took a little while to figure that out, but I believe I've got it figured out now.
Yeah, it's got to be hard. I have 3 daughters. I know. And now they're growing up. They've given me like 8 grandkids, but still it's just something about when you're not with them. We went through their mother and I split up when they were young, and just not being there was just driving me nuts for the kids. And
Yeah.
I can't even imagine what it would be like to be in your shoes and maybe be home only 40 days out of the whole year. I mean, I don't know what I would do. I get where you're coming from.
Yeah, but it's for people like myself, small town Kentucky. I mean, sometimes that's your only option, regardless whether you're a songwriter, a singer traveling the country, or you're a guy that lives in Monticello or Caneyville, Kentucky, and
Mhm.
and the only good job you can find is out on the road doing pipeline, construction or road construction or something. So being gone is just, I'm familiar with it. My dad was a truck driver all my life,
Cool.
and
All right.
so it's just like, but it was just the realization of that. It's like, because I'd done so many of those jobs since Mandy and I had been married, but I'd never had an infant.
Right.
My
Right.
boy was 5 when I came into his life. He already had such a great support system around him, and here I am, like trying to build this family with
Mhm.
with a new daughter from this whole new perspective, and so yeah, it was crazy, man. Just trying to juggle everything and balance everything. It became
Well,
just heavy.
yeah, you looked at real life. You said you came into the life of a 5-year-old and now you're dad to
Yeah.
him. I mean, hence, there you go. We have the single. So,
Yeah.
I mean, absolutely. But then they were starting to push My Girl because they said, all right, well, if we're doing My Boy, I guess we got to do My Girl. And I remember all that. But,
Yeah,
My
dude, it was
Boy
so
was,
funny. I tried and tried. I told everybody we got to put this version out. We got to put this version out, and we were like, dragging our feet on it. And then this guy posted a video of his cover on YouTube, and it was getting like hundreds of thousands, millions of views. And then all of a sudden, everybody was like, "Hey, we got to get our own version out." Like, I tried to tell you, but we got her done,
yeah.
man. It's good.
Yeah. Well, where are you from originally, Elvie?
A little town called Caneyville, Kentucky, just a couple hours north of Nashville.
Oh, okay, so you're pretty close. Is that
Yeah.
where you are now, or are you actually in Nashville?
I'm back in Nashville.
Okay.
So I left here after My Boy went #1. I
Mhm.
left a couple months after that. And then I was in Eastern Kentucky in Monticello, Kentucky for about 2 years. And we just sold our house last summer. Lived in a camper for about 6 months. And I was still like distancing myself and figuring some stuff out. I made
Yeah.
friends with some old demons again and was trying to figure all that out. And
Mhm. Mhm.
and then I got my head and my heart straighter, and we got back down to Nashville. So right now I'm sitting over in West Nashville in our house that
Love it.
we rent over here.
I love it. I love the guitar in the background and the flag as well. That's pretty cool, dude.
That's from my buddy Cameron Marlowe, man. He gave me
Really?
as a tour gift. Yeah.
Yeah, I just saw, we were just in Nashville. It was the country radio seminar, myself and 600 of other people that do
Yeah.
what I do. Did you make it into the country radio seminar at all?
Yeah. So that was my first step, like back in to let everybody know I'm here. And man, it
Mhm.
was so awesome. I was gone for so long, and I felt like I kind of felt like my song Forgotten Man a little bit, because like I said, I distanced myself, but just to see so many people that I met during the My
Mhm.
Boy and County Roads process, and to see the smile on their face when they see me walk in the room and stuff, it was super encouraging, and it was just a great way to let everybody know that I'm back in black, baby. Let's go, and
Let's go. Let's go. All
got
in
to see
uppercase.
friends.
It's like, let's
Yeah,
go.
yeah,
Yeah,
yeah, man. I mean, that's
I love
that's
that.
how I feel now. It's and good timing too, because I'm about to
Mhm.
come out with a new record. So I'm just glad to be where I'm at now versus where I have been. It has been a road to Damascus, and that's what the
I
record's
was,
called.
yeah, I
Been
want to
doing that.
talk about that too, and that's one of the reasons we have you on here tonight on Skip Happens. And by the way, you could look at your life and go, well, Skip happens. You
Yeah,
know, it's kind of, I'm
it
just saying,
does.
Skip happens. Um, but Damascus is your sophomore album, and
Mhm.
tell us a little bit about that.
Man, I think to tell you about that, I got to start with the last record.
Okay.
Backslider was definitely. I'm definitely proud of Backslider.
Hmm.
It was a collection of the best songs I felt like I had that were honest to me from I mean, like, Toby Keith said at his Country Music Songwriters Hall of Fame induction, I had my whole my whole life to write my first record, and it's that second record that you're like, damn, what do I do now? Um, like I say, very proud of that record, but it was a much softer version. I didn't know that. I don't know. I wasn't quite comfortable just coming out of the gate swinging and telling everybody all the nitty gritty details of my life. But this second record, the only way that I could figure out how to go on was to just dive a little deeper. And
Hmm.
so I dove deeper with the stories, the history, and also with my influences. So, Damascus is partially called that because it was kind of a road to Damascus, trying to figure out what I was going to do next, and where I was going to come from, how I was going to end. I like to approach my records as a concept, and also name them something completely different because that's a different body of work as well. I believe
Hmm.
I think Keith Urban is a guy that has always done that as well. Um, but I got into, just looking at some of my struggle. I've seen a lot of struggle in the world the last few years since all of that went down with My Boy and Backslider,
Hmm.
and I felt like that's how I related to people. And what I really have paid a lot of attention to is struggles such as addiction in rural areas, like the ones I grew up in, and prison reform and working class struggle. And that's all stuff that I know fairly well. So I
Hmm.
wanted to dip into that, and I wanted to reach out. I never want to make the same record twice. So I figured the only way to make this record completely different was to dive deeper into my influences, from everywhere from Johnny Cash to Mac Miller, and
Hmm.
everything in between, Foo Fighters, Nirvana, everything. So we took a sonic approach that was just kind of no fences, no barriers, no rules, and also melodically and lyrically, and it ended up producing a record that I'm probably more proud of and then more excited about than I was my original record.
I love it. I can't wait to hear the whole project. I mean, this is going to be really cool because we need Elvie Shane. We need you. We need you on country radio.
Thank
We
you.
just your music is like you say, it's telling a story, and it's a lot that you've experienced, and it's a lot that you're able to help others because of what you've been through. And I think it's all going to come out on that album. Am I
That
correct?
that was yeah, that was a guiding compass for this project as well, like helping others, even if it's just one person. Like
Mhm.
I had one song, it's called Outside Dog. It's the first song on the record. It's the very first record, and it's a very ego driven song. I was frustrated when I wrote it, and I felt like that dude in college who was a pledge and ended up getting in a fight with the dude because he wouldn't let me ride in the fraternity van. So I got kicked out of out of pledging the fraternity. But I kind of had that same feeling. So one day on an airplane back from the UK, I just let that voice have its day, and I got out my phone and just wrote these lyrics and ended up in the studio. But I was playing that for the first time at a motorcycle rally, and this girl came up to me after my show, and she said, "Hey, my dad's black, my mom's Jewish, and I grew up in Central Alabama. And I've
Wow.
never felt like I had a song in my life until I heard Outside Dog tonight." And I was like, well, that solidifies it. That's going on the record, if it reaches one person, that song or Pill, I don't know if you heard Pill when we put it out here a while back, but
I heard that as well. Yes. Yes.
so that song was written with the hopes of one person riding down the road hearing it one day on a playlist or on the radio or wherever it ended up,
Mhm.
and it making them just hearing it from somebody, hearing the rhetoric and the verbiage to know that whoever wrote this song has been there,
Mhm.
and now they're coming through the speakers. It was in hopes that it would give them a little hope and maybe make them go home where the porch lights on, and everybody's waiting for them to come back.
There you go. Great storyteller. And I mean, that's you as well. What is something about Elvie Shane that a lot of people don't know about?
Well, let me
Here
grab
we
this
go.
real quick.
Cool. I see an empty chair. I love it.
I just got this today.
Let's see.
So, something I've been into for a while that I don't really share with people, because I just love art of all forms, man, and
Sure.
I love to
Sure.
create. But something I've gotten into a lot here lately is old film photography. So this is a
Oh my
88
God.
model film camera, and I've got a page on Instagram. I've never told anybody this before, but I've got a page on Instagram. It's called Yesterday's Wind, and I just post some pictures and throw them up on there, and it's just kind of how I see the world. And I'm working on a project right now called Backstage, and it's about I worked production before I started all this, so I built
Sure.
stage and ran lights
Mhm.
and ran monitors for artists and stuff. And I want to highlight those guys because there's some really cool characters that do production work. So my plan with this camera in particular is to get portraits of guys out on the road, and guys and girls who work in production. And one of these days, put together just a coffee table book, and just
How
with a
cool.
picture of somebody and maybe a little bit of their story in there and stuff. So
Yeah.
film
So
photography.
where did you find that camera? Do they still sell those, or did you have to go to eBay or something like that? I mean,
So this is my newest one. I literally just got it today. I'm
dude,
so excited.
it's cool. I love this.
But originally I got into it here a while back, and yeah, you could still find these things. They're I don't think they're really making cameras like this anymore. This is an 88 model. It's in mint condition. It's such an awesome, beautiful piece. But
Mhm.
uh I got that one off eBay. I ordered it less than 40 hours ago from Japan, and the dude had it on my porch this afternoon. It's
Oh
crazy.
shit. It was that quick.
Yeah,
Holy
it's
cow.
such a cool thing, man. Everything today is so immediate. You post something and you wait, and you're like, oh, I hope people look at this. And we're always looking for instant gratification. But with this thing, it takes a while. You take the picture, you don't get to see what it looked like for, it might be a week before you're able to make it to the film lab, turn it in, and then it's another 2 to 5 days before you get the files back and you actually get to see your
Yeah.
pictures. So it's the only thing I can find in life right now that has delayed gratification, other than going for a
I
run or a walk or working
Right,
out.
right,
It
right.
sucks.
Yeah, do you, I know we're supposed to be talking music here, but this is really interesting to me because every once in a while I go off on a tangent and just do something that I just different, but yet it can relate to what everything else is about. But, do you develop your own film? Do you do all that?
No, I haven't got into that yet, but I'm definitely looking into it. Because that process is very expensive. So,
Oh, I'm sure.
I'm not able to do it as much as I would like, but it's a to develop and scan your own photos, to have the stuff to do that, you're looking at a good few $1,000s at the minimum. So it'll
Mhm.
be a little while before I make that kind of investment in it. For now, I've got the cameras that I feel like I would love to have that do what I want them to do. And right now I'm just focused on capturing the stuff I want to capture.
I can't wait to see like this book that you're talking about, or maybe, we get back to doing vinyl, which is all coming back. I could see you doing something like that, and the actual, the case for the record would be a picture that you took, or a combination of a lot of different things that you've been, like your life, and you're documenting different things. And that's
Dude,
Elvie Shane. I
that's
love
cool
it.
that you say that. I literally just earlier I got the idea to take a bunch of these pictures for I'm always trying to figure out what the next record is, and like
Mhm, mhm.
there's always some kind of religious connotation to it. So I thought about like calling the next record like In His Image or something, and having a bunch of different pictures of different people and putting them together in a way that it kind of looks like my. Have you ever seen where like you take a bunch of different pictures and it
Yep,
make
yep,
it look
yep.
like one image?
Yes,
So,
yes.
but it's like everybody from all different walks of life, all different colors and cultures, and it comes together
Oh
and
my
just
God,
makes a
that's so
picture
cool.
of my face for the next record cover. So I would definitely like to involve my work in the visual side of things later on.
100%, 100%. And I like the fact that you, Elvie, that you're talking about the people. Well, you've worked behind the scenes before you became an artist on the main stage, but that you kind of put the spotlight on these guys that are running sound, making sure the monitors sound good, making sure your inner ears are working, from everybody that runs out with the guitar, gives you the other, whatever, all that. You put the spotlight on these people that actually make those shows run and
Well,
make you
dude, you
sound
better
really
be good
good,
to
and
those
you do.
guys.
I'm just saying.
You better be good to those guys, because like I can screw up your show real fast if I'm running monitors, or lights or whatever. And they get overlooked so often, and
Yeah.
I see it nowadays. Honestly, man, I feel so much more comfortable hanging out with the production guys and those guys when we're doing shows than I do other artists even. I don't know. It's just I'm not that far removed from that world. So to me, like those are my people.
I love
So
it. Do you have a name for I'm sure you have a fan club. You have the Elvie Shane fan club. Do you have a name for your fan club, or?
not really, man.
I don't think so. All right.
We've called it the congregation. I used to be a
Hey.
preacher back in the day, so
Mhm.
we've toyed around with some ideas for fan club names, but I'm still growing the fan base, so maybe in the near future we'll see some kind of name pop up.
I see it happening. I see it happening. And I can't wait. Like I said, I can't wait to hear the project with Damascus. But man, that how many tracks are going to be on that?
There's 13, which
Okay.
John Logan, the head of my label, he's not a fan of that
Love
number.
John. Love John. He's
I
not a
love
fan of the 13.
He don't like that number, man. Last time we were going to do
Well,
13,
okay.
and he asked me for 2 more. He was like, "It's too. I don't like that number. It's bad luck."
Well, he might have a point. What do you feel about that, though? You think you're just going to keep it at 13? I mean, it's probably at this point, it's too late. So,
It's 13 this time. I feel like it's good luck. So,
yeah.
I don't know, man. I'm so excited for the world to hear this project. I'm proud of the songs that are already out there off of the project. You were talking about does Heaven Have a Creek
Oh
before
my
we
God.
hopped
Yes.
on, and as much as that the record starts with ego, it was important to me to make that song first to get the ego out of the way, focus on the stuff I feel like is important. But then we end the record with Does Heaven Have a Creek, which is just solely based on humility and faith and trying to, just explore your faith and wondering what heaven might be like one day. And so it starts at the roughest, it goes through some of the rough times, and it ends up growing into this, be who you are and be
Mhm.
humble and, just live your life.
When you want to break free from everything, besides photography, what else do you do? Do you get out and hunt at all? I figured if you're from Kentucky, you might be, that type of countryside, the rural feel, get out and hunt, maybe fish. Do you do any of that?
I hate fishing. I'm not patient. I
No
hate fishing,
patience.
but I love to hunt.
Okay.
Most of my hunting takes place in Texas. I've made friends with a big, great group of guys down in Texas. I go down there every year, do a little deer hunting, do duck hunting. This year we went sandhill crane hunting. We didn't see anything, but or we seen plenty. We didn't get a shot on anything, but I also just love, I got deer in the freezer, and it's like I would say it's a deer that I took down, but it's a deer that I missed, and my buddy grabbed the gun and took it down for me. So, uh, but we're providing food for the family that way. So
I
yeah,
love it.
I love to be outside. I love to work on. I got an old '74 Galaxy. I love that car. Just get out and ride around in it, and my
Dude,
daughter
that's
loves
so
it.
cool. That's
It
so
is
cool.
that was my boy, my number one gift to myself. So it's such a great car, man. It's actually in Wisconsin right now. A buddy of mine that owns a shop up there, he's going to put a lowering kit on it for me. But I met him in Eastern Kentucky, and we drove it all the way to Wisconsin, 3-day trip,
Oh, wow.
leaking gas out of the carburetor, showing wire on the front tires, and she never missed a beat, baby. She made it all the
Really?
way. Good car,
You're
yes sir.
lucky it didn't catch fire if it was leaking gas out of that car, because that
Well,
drips down on the heads, man. That's pretty hot.
well, we took the fire extinguisher just in case, you know. So, but we knew that was a chance, but
Yeah. Yeah.
it was worth the story. It's such a great trip. As soon as we pulled into Chicago, the first blizzard of the year hit,
No.
and man, we ended up pulling over at this really cool spot west of Chicago called Geneva, and having
Mhm,
dinner
mhm,
that night, and
mhm.
just the snow was coming down. My old car was sitting out on the side street. It looked so cool. I wish I had that camera then, but
Oh, well, you'll get it back soon enough, and with that camera that you have there and whatever else is right there with you, you're gonna get some pretty cool shots. Maybe
I
some
hope
nice
so.
black and white and kind of fade them into each other. That's pretty cool. That's pretty
Yes,
cool. See,
sir.
I'm loving that, man. I'm glad you told me about that. I'm gonna be looking for some of the Elvie Shane photography is what I'm gonna be looking for. Some of the
Go,
best.
yeah, you can check it out on Instagram. It's I think I can't remember if I told you or not, but it's Yesterday's Wind is the
Yesterday's Wind. Okay.
yeah, yeah.
I will definitely check that out. What do you see is happening in the near future for you? You're coming down with the album, but I imagine Loba probably can't wait to get some stuff out to radio. Do you know when radio will be seeing some of this? Do you have any idea, or is it all well? Now it's out of your hands, and they've got to decide what they're going to do.
Yeah, I feel like it's kind of out of a lot of people's hands these days. Things have changed to where
Yes,
there
yeah,
needs to be some kind of a story going on. So right now, I'm just like trying to do the hard work. I'm out here touring. I'm doing club dates. I'm trying to play as much as possible. The record comes out in April. We got one song, What Do I Know, that came out in January 5th, and it's doing better in its first like month and a half than any song has done since My Boy. It's really putting up some good numbers. So it's kind of on the fans at this point. Like
yeah, yeah.
if you love me and what I'm about, then the best thing you could do is just play my music and tell people about it, because the more
Mhm,
that grows, the
mhm.
more it entices folks like yourself and John to say, hey, this we got something here, and then you go to radio with it, and if you're lucky enough to win the lottery there, that can obviously be a huge boost, and it is like winning the lottery, man, and I don't take that for granted. It's such an amazing thing to be able to say you have number one hit at country radio. That's the
Oh,
epitome of the
that's
dream,
pretty cool.
right? So
Yeah, yeah.
but yeah, I think it's a lot on the fans these days, and how they communicate with other people about the artists that they're excited about. Right now, Red
Mhm.
Clay Strays. I've been watching these guys grind for
I've
years,
heard of them. Yes.
and they're just kicking ass right now.
Wow.
Stephen Wilson Jr.
Yeah,
is a
yeah.
songwriter. I've been pitched a million of his songs, and every time I heard one of his songs, I was like, "Why isn't this guy doing this himself? He's got such an amazing voice." And now he's popping off, and so
Do
it's just
you
out the talent and putting it out into the world, you know?
Do you feel and I love John Loba. I love what he's doing. The label's a good label. I really thoroughly enjoy, the product, the music he sends to radio and this and that and working with them. But do you feel you're very happy doing it this way? Or because I know now there's certain artists out there. Let's take Drew Baldridge for an example. He's out there doing it all on his own dime. He says, "You know what? I'm done with all that. I'm going to do this." He got a gold record out of "She's Somebody's Daughter,"
Yeah.
and it's just I'm like, wow, he did this on his own. He without the help of the label.
You know what I love about what we're doing is we have a very indie approach to what we're doing, but we also have the
Okay,
support of the label to be able to create the music the way that we see fit,
that's
and
cool.
to be able to offer us up some some coin when we need it for opportunities.
Hmm, hmm, hmm.
So, as of right now, I'm super happy with
Good.
where I'm at and the team that I have. I can't say that I have been over the last 2 years all the time. There's definitely been times where I've been frustrated, but I think that's just part of any relationship. At the end of the day, everybody on your team wants the same thing. They want to see
Mhm.
success. Your success is everyone else's success, but everybody always has their own idea of what that success should look like or how it should be approached. And there's been a little bit of button of heads here and there, as I feel like there should be in any creative environment.
Well, I
uh,
think that makes the creativity come out even a little bit more. When you have the butting of heads, you usually come out with some pretty good ideas. So,
yeah, I mean, honestly, dude, I just think it's important for
mhm,
artists to keep a little bit of piss and vinegar in them, and be willing to butt heads, but button heads should do nothing other than make you want to strive to be who you are even more.
100%. Yep,
Like, put a fence up and I'll tear that son of a bitch down. Just give me an axe, baby, So
exactly.
the axe is the money sometimes, and sometimes it's something else. But yeah, man, right now I feel really good. My team is super supportive, and
Uh-oh. I guess, well, we've been talking to Elvie Shane, and hopefully he pops back in here in a moment or two, and I'm sure he will. But thank you for giving us, a listen tonight and watching this. Elvie had My Boy, which was a big hit just a couple of years ago, coming out with the new album, Damascus. It's going to drop in the middle of April, and we're so looking forward to that. And being a radio person, more or less looking for this new music to come in our direction as well, and be able to play it for you, and to be able to get it in your ear, and hopefully you would support Elvie Shane. We'll just see if he pops up here in a minute, but it's good to have him back. Like I said, he took a little bit of a break. He kind of was rethinking things just a little bit. So we're just kind of waiting to see if he pops back on here. But in the meantime, after this, or on YouTube, if you subscribe to Skip Happens, we do these quite often, not only here, but with the radio station that I'm at, the Wolf in Syracuse. We also have the Inner Harbor Cast. So make sure you give it a subscribe, hit that button, and and help us out here a little bit. I'm waiting to see if he's going to pop back on. I don't know, but and you're welcome to put a comment in the side here if you're watching. You can comment on this as well. If you got a question for Elvie, if he comes back on, we'll make sure that he gives it a look at and answers the question. So that'd be kind of cool. And I'm just watching intently. That's what we do. But it's Skip Happens. That's why we call it Skip Happens. And well, and I mean, this might, let's see. Is this Elvie?
Yeah, man. My iPad just like went black on me. I don't know what the deal is. It's just got a line across it right now. I'm on my cell phone though. Is there any way you can let me back in?
Well, actually, we are on right now because I answer the phone through the system here as we do the podcast. Everybody can see me, they can hear you. But
dang, I've got my camera enabled on the app, but I don't know what. I don't know what happened. This thing's a little old, so maybe it's trying to get on me.
Maybe it went dead. Did you plug it in?
Well, before me and you started talking, it was at 47%. So
I don't know. But you know what? I mean, we've had a great conversation, and we talked about Damascus, and that's the album that's going to drop in April. I've been telling everybody in the meantime while I was waiting to see if you're going to pop back in or give me a call, which you did, that viewers need to go and check that out when it comes out. Let me ask you a question. Do you get back home in your hometown very often?
I just went back this past weekend in Caneyville, where I'm from, and took my wife, my daughter up there, so my mom and dad could see my daughter and everything before we head off for Australia. This weekend we're headed there. So
Australia.
Yes, sir.
Dude, that's like a 17-hour flight.
Man, it's actually from Nashville. It's going to be 4.5 to San Francisco, and then 15.5 from San Francisco to Sydney. So,
damn.
As much as I'm looking forward to going to Australia for the first time, I am not looking forward to this flight. Can
I ask, why are you going to Australia? Is it for shows, or is it just like we need to get away?
No, so evidently they had this thing similar to the UK, like C2C. Okay. And they just got a bunch of artists coming out there, and they were nice enough to invite me this year.
Very cool, dude. Well, I wish you a lot of luck on that. Not take the camera, because we do want to see some photos.
I'm definitely going to take the camera.
And when you perform, what's your a show, an Elvie Shane show? Can you describe one of those for us?
It's pretty high energy, man. I mean, I think some people show up expecting My Boy, and then they get there, and we always do My Boy, of course, but the rest of the show, we literally were at rehearsals last week, and our problem was we had too many tempo songs, and I was like, I've never in my life had this issue before. So there's a lot of energy, but there's also a lot of segments in the show where I really hope you'll just listen to what I have to say. I've got a song I'm really excited about coming out on a record called 215634. It's a friend of mine, my oldest childhood friend. He's serving a life sentence right now for reckless homicide, but a guy, he threatened to kill my buddy, and he kicked in the door, and
with a gun to kill my friend. And my friend, you know, he was a felon, but he knew this guy was after him, so he acquired a gun. And when that guy kicked in the door on him, he shot and killed this man. But
Oh
since
my
he
God.
was a felon in possession of a firearm, he couldn't claim self-defense, you know, and that something about that just don't sit right with me. So, you know, that's part of the record of me, like feeling like there's other people's stories besides my own that need to be told. And, you know, I just hope there during those segments of the show that people are, I know everybody's there to have a good time and get away, but also it's a
Right.
good opportunity for us to unite and think about things that really need to be thought about and remember, and think about people that we need to remember and think about as well.
Absolutely. Absolutely. Are you on any major concert tours coming up this summer? Do you know of as of yet?
Not as of right now. Travis Tritt's been really good to us this year at throwing us a few shows. Got some shows with Blackberry Smoke, playing the Ryman with Blackberry Smoke.
Cool.
June 21st. Really excited for that. That'll be my first like full concert at the Ryman. I went and played a couple shows during Darius and Friends a couple years back, but this will be the first like full set we've played. You know, I've kind of thrown all pride out of the window. I've reached out to a few people that I've made friends with over the last few years and just said, hey, if you got any opportunities for us on tour this year, you know, call me Johnny on the spot. I'll be there. But
Cool.
as of right now, we haven't got any offers just yet.
I think those offers will come in. Don't worry. When Damascus comes out and people start hearing what you're all about, and I think a lot of people already know what you're about. I think that, you know, my opinion is, yeah, we'll probably see you on the road somewhere.
Yeah, man,
up,
I think they'll really get it. I think they'll know what I'm about after this record. I didn't really even know what I was about 100% until this record was, you know, about 3/4 of the way put together. And I've really found my why during this record. And for the most part, man, it's just blue collar working class people and the struggles and perseverance, you know, that they endure in their day-to-day lives. And that's just where I come from and what I know, and that's what I want to talk about. So
absolutely. Here on Skip Happens tonight, we've been chatting with Elvie Shane, as I mentioned a few minutes ago, as well as when we started. You know Elvie from My Boy a couple of years back. I mean, the song that went right to the top, touched the hearts of millions, and that's all about his relationship now, you know, coming into a life and being called dad to already a 5-year-old. It's just, to me, that's just so awesome. And it just, now your stories and everything you've been through, and now bringing it all to the forefront on Damascus. And I can't wait to hear this thing. I know Loba could be watching this right now and going, all right, get it to Skip right now. Let's get it out. But, and, you know, and I wouldn't say no. So
well,
I
thank
love
you,
it.
man.
Absolutely. You know what, my friend, I'm going to let you go, and I do appreciate you coming on Skip Happens tonight. Some great information, and it's just, you're back. Not that you ever left, but you're back. And
yeah, I'm back, man. My
excited.
head and my heart's in a good place. So
Yeah, and it sounds it, and I'm very excited for you, and I pray for your success. And I want to see those pictures, dude. I love that stuff. I love it. Absolutely. So if you get
well,
creative,
I'll keep trying to pump them out for you.
do it. All right, Elvie Shane here on Skip Happens tonight. Elvie, stay right there, but I'm going to say goodbye to our viewers, and thank you so much for watching. Don't forget, give us a subscribe on YouTube, Skip Happens. Don't forget, you got to pick up the album when it drops. The actual date is what, April 16th, was it?
No, April 19th.
19th.
Conveniently a day before 420, so everybody can pass it around.
Oh man, I never thought of that, but you're right. I love it. All right there. Hey, I'll join you. All right. Well, in this case, we're gonna say goodnight. And Elvie, hang on. Good night, everybody. Thank you for watching. Skip Happens. Pick it up. It's on the 19th of April. It's called Damascus. Good night, everybody.